In some exciting developments for the aviation industry, after a last-minute airline swap, Airbus has finally delivered its first A321XLR to the launch operator of Iberia, Spain's flag carrier. Iberia, though you may recall, was not actually initially meant to be the launch operator, with Aer Lingus, a fellow IAG member, slated to take on the first aircraft before pilot contracts stalled delivery plans and forced the switch. Delivery of the first A321XLR marks a new era for the plane maker and airlines that choose to commit to the aircraft. Thanks to its enhanced range capabilities, the XLR is expected to redefine what it means to fly single-aisle missions. From November, Iberia will deploy the XLR to Boston, but before that, the aircraft will be deployed across European destinations in what can be known as crew familiarization flights. This is a very standard procedure for a new aircraft type when entering an airline's fleet. The XLR is expected to be optimized for flying up to 8 hours. Therefore, it'll open up greater opportunities, notably across that very transatlantic network, with smaller aircraft allowing for quicker turnarounds, the opportunity to fly into airports that are not currently served, and so much more. Bursting onto the scene in 2019 as an enhanced A321LR, the XLR acted as an immediate hit, seeing hundreds of orders in the first week, which certainly indicated that the type had some pretty big potential. While the XLR did remain of interest in the early 2020s, you've got to remember that we witnessed the emergence of the global pandemic just 6 months after the aircraft was first announced, which definitely hindered some of its progress in more ways than one. Airbus, however, was committed and began building the jet and working towards a certification to enable them to deliver their first unit in 2023. However, quickly problems emerged with the additional fuel tank, this installed to make that all-important range possible, which had some fire risks that needed mending. Thanks to these niggles, the eventual process for the first delivery was delayed until 2024, and subsequently we have seen minor delays since then. But now, first delivery has occurred, and it's ultimately one that is 5 years in the making and will definitely get the ball rolling, as there are many airlines out there that are awaiting this new single-aisle type. Some people do remain reserved about what the XLR will bring to passengers with it being a single-aisle jet. Remember, it's going to be deployed right around the world on routes that may typically see a wide-body deployed in the past. So as a result, questions are posed about the comfort and ease at which cabin crew members will be able to execute their service, and how will customers deal with 8 hours on a single aisle. I'd love to hear your take on that down below in the comments. Flaw airlines definitely see past that, seeing the considerable levels of efficiency and benefits that will come to their business. Over to the next story, which has now been confirmed. To ensure a smooth transaction takes place between the two South Korean companies of Korean Air and Asiana Airlines, Boeing 777s are going to be sent to T-Way Air, a fellow South Korean carrier. The move to transfer aircraft will also include relevant crew personnel to facilitate operations with the widebody, from pilots to maintenance. The specific variant in question is the 777-300ER, and this has now been confirmed, with flights to take place towards the likes of Paris and more. Fleet data indicates that Korean Air has 25 777-300ERs, which also work alongside 777-200s and 777-300s, which are among some of the oldest in the fleet. However, as preparations ramp up internally at Korean Air to hopefully acquire Asiana Airlines, there will be a major shake-up seen to not just the South Korean aviation sector, but the broader world, and measures need to be taken to ensure that all parties can be pleased with the outcome and they receive all the approval. Some of those measures that have already been announced include the selling off of the Asiana Airlines cargo division, which was a step towards ensuring that competitors could continue operating once the takeover was complete, and that Korean Air, say, towards Europe, didn't absolutely kill off all existing competitor companies. The sale of the cargo division was part of a package submitted to the European Commission that included included remedies following an initial rejection. However, much thought must be given to also other elements of the business and other competitors away from the freight scene. And as part of a focus on the passenger operation, the EU also stated that there were some concerns regarding that passenger network, and a conditional part of the entry revolved around the support of T-Way Air to serve markets. These countermeasures are just part of the many attempts by Korean Air to ensure that its approval of the major takeover of Asiana Airlines goes smoothly, and at this stage it is still waiting for a decision from the US authority, this the last one it needs, and it's hoping to get this before year's end. Takeovers between airlines such as this have been rejected for far less, and compliance with regulations and ensuring that a steady dialogue is present is critical for all relevant parties to make sure a deal doesn't fall through at the last stages. Even if all these transfers and approvals do go smoothly, you need to remember that a takeover will not be fully complete just like that. A lot of work remains before it can be finalized and the integration can be considered done. Analysts expect this to take half a decade at best. Some things worth considering extending beyond just how to appease the US is EU and other governing bodies that have looked into what the fleet will look like, as well as the transfer of some of their existing aircraft alongside the retirement of others. How will they deploy planes to their low-cost divisions and the mainline business? What will the employee base look like? And so much more. Over to Ethiopian Airlines, who are gearing up to take on their first A350-1000 as part of their continued ambitions to grow as a company and renew their fleet. Named Ethiopia Land of Origins, the airline expects the first aircraft to be delivered in November, following several delays it has felt due to supply chain related difficulties. These delays hardly a surprise, but for Ethiopian Airlines, the aircraft being the first of its kind in Africa is also a real true landmark moment. It highlights the region's long-term growth ambitions with so much untapped potential. Therefore, to celebrate the A350-1000, there will be a decal at the front of the aircraft to commemorate what this means for Africa. Inside the aircraft, well, it will come with all the latest technologies, such as an exclusive upper-class seating configuration, with each seat having direct aisle access, complemented by all new ambient lighting. You'll see a very rich 17.3-inch 4K QLED HDR IFE screen. My god, it feels like I'm saying the alphabet now with in-flight entertainment systems, and what will also be present is high-speed Wi-Fi. Not just for Ethiopian Airlines, but for the people of Africa, the addition of an A350-1000 is considered to really be a dream, thanks to all the new network options that will be possible. Focusing on the international travel market is something that they believe is a necessity, and high-capacity travel to key locations that they've built up will need to happen. So an A350-1000, being one of the few true high-capacity aircraft actually available to airlines, is really a no-brainer. That'll conclude today's aviation recap. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow.